What is up, everybody, to the nations worldwide? This is the Travel Couple Podcast, where we introduce you to couple travelers who offer their advice on how you can travel the world together while earning money, living that digital nomad lifestyle. We are your hosts, Mike Kletz and
Natalie.
Tune in every Wednesday as we interview couples living a digital nomad lifestyle, traveling the world while earning an income. Get relationship advice about being on the road with your significant other. Listen how others struggle and thrive in their personal and business lives, all while traveling the world. This is your one-stop podcast for travel, relationship, and business goals. This month, we are diving into the world of travel blogging, so be sure to check out our travel blogging tutorial in our podcast, or you can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/totheNationsWorldwide. Click the like button and join our Jack of all trades guide to creating a travel blog. Here, we take you step by step to create your own travel blog, from creating a website, choosing a niche, writing content, gaining exposure, and eventually monetizing your blog. In today's episode, we talk with travel bloggers Nathan and Aimee of Two Drifters, twodrifters.us, and Instagram at twodriftersxo. They discuss how they met in a hostel, grew their relationship through travel and freelancing while keeping their blog up to date. So without wasting any more time, here's our interview with Nathan and Aimee. Today we are joined by Nathan and Aimee of Two Drifters. Nathan and Aimee are a couple from the US who were united by travel, married, and continue to travel around the world together. You can find them at www.twodrifters.us. Hello, Nathan and Aimee. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So let us just get started by introducing you guys a little bit, and just how did you guys meet, and how did everything evolve? I know you guys have a really interesting story.
We do. We met in a hostel, which is, perfect for a travel couple.
Yeah.
We met in a hostel in Edinburgh in 2011, and we both happened to be there on different, separate trips, but we both chose the hostel, one, because it was super cheap, and the other reason was that it used to be a converted church, so we both thought that was neat. Like, it had stained glass. Other than that, it was your average, dingy hostel, and we happened to be in the same dorm room, a very small, cramped dorm room, and
we started hanging out, and we both left town a couple of days later, but we kept in touch. And then later on that same trip, we met up in London, and just kind of stayed in touch ever since. And then once we were both back in the States, we connected. I was in North Carolina and she was in Vermont, but I came up to visit her, and then that's when we became official.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great, guys. So how long ago did you guys get married? How long have you been married?
Oh, we've been married almost a year and a half.
Oh,
we got married last April.
Year and a few months.
Nice. And did you guys get married? Fast. Yeah. Did you guys get married on the road, or did you go back home?
We spent a little more than a year living in Asheville, North Carolina, because we knew we were going to get engaged, and to get married while we were there. So we took some time off from traveling to do the whole wedding thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. And, you two are from different parts of the States, so did you do two weddings, or how did you work that out?
No, we just did one wedding, and everybody made their way down.
Okay.
Our families, we're both from the East Coast, so most people were able to make it.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, and it was a destination wedding for other people. We lived in Asheville, but it's such a nice area that people were really excited, and they, a lot of people had never been there or hadn't even really heard of it, and they loved it. We really loved it. We miss it, kind of.
That's great.
So, why did you start a travel blog? And when in this timeline did you start one?
Oh, let me think. I think it was a little after we met.
2014.
Yeah, it was maybe. Actually, I think it was officially like 2013. We sort of had the idea. For the first year and a half we were together, we were actually doing long distance.
Okay.
Because I was going to grad school in Scotland. Ironically, I just went back to Scotland because I loved it so much. And Nathan was doing some traveling. And I think we were just like, let's, we both love to write and take pictures. Like, maybe we can do something even though we're apart to, like, feel connected.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't really do anything with it.
Yeah.
We just sort of had the idea. We might have written a blog post or two, but I want to say we officially started in 2014.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really when it came together and became a real blog.
Gotcha.
And had some kind of direction.
Yeah.
And then where did the name Two Drifters come from?
Well, do you know the song Moon River? Maybe you don't.
Don't actually know. Who sings that?
So, I don't know who originally sang it, actually. Okay. It's a very old song. The place it's famous in, the movie it's famous in is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay.
It's just this pretty little lullaby type song, but it has lyrics, two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see.
Gotcha.
And actually, when we thought of it, I was really shocked that there was not already a blogger couple with that name. Mm-hmm. I've actually seen some pop up in the years since.
Yeah.
But we're the only ones who have gone the distance, I think.
Yeah, it's quite a long-term thing, a blog, if you want to really, So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
for sure. Yeah, it's a great. And who did the logo? The logo's really interesting.
Oh, that balloon. My friend and also my maid of honor in my wedding. She's an artist in Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
And I just told her what we kind of had in mind. We like the vintage sort of style, and she just came up with that. She's really awesome. Yeah, really great.
It looks like it would make a great tattoo.
I've thought about getting it on myself.
Oh yeah.
I might still do that.
All right, so this is just a bit of an intro just to get us to know each other a bit, but now we like to go into the first part where we like to warm up our guests with some questions that reveal a bit about themselves and their travels. So let's just jump right into this. And
okay.
Where were you last? Where are you now? And where are you traveling to next?
The last overseas place we were outside of the U.S. was in Romania. We stayed there for a few months, mostly in Brasov. Nice. And we, kept up the blog while we were there and saw the sights. And we weren't really exactly sure what the next step was. And we've actually ended up coming back to the States now for a while. We're living in New Hampshire. Just to have a little stability, I think, for a while, and to try to build the blog into a more sustainable business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to have some routine. And then as for where we're traveling to next, we're really not sure. We tossed ideas around for what happens when
our lease ends.
When our lease ends.
Yeah.
But it's really nothing definite. Maybe Latin America.
Latin America.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Nice.
Yeah, I'd like to dust off my Spanish skills.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a.
But for now, we're just traveling around New England. Like, there's so much that's here,
Yeah.
And it's so drivable. And then, actually, on Friday, we're heading down to visit family across the East Coast. So we're taking sort of a long 3-week road trip.
Yeah. Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So during your travels together, what's been the most rewarding experience that you guys can think of?
We think that probably when we went to Australia, was our best.
Yeah. As like an overall experience, we went there on a work visa, so we were there for about 6 months. And we both, our secondary jobs, we both work online, so we were able to keep up those jobs while we traveled. And so we rented a van and basically crossed the continent in the van. And, it was really, for us, it was like it really solidified our relationship.
Great.
In terms of like, we really were just together in a van all the time. So there was no running or hiding from issues.
Yeah.
So we really I mean, we were already close, but I think we became closer.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
go ahead.
So, and then it's a really beautiful country, and so much there, and it's enormous. So
yeah, and we drove like, I think Nathan's dad figured it out once. We drove like the length of Alaska to Florida, like
wow,
like that.
Wow, that much we saw.
Wow,
yeah, it was really fun.
There's nothing like travel to really solidify a relationship.
Yeah. Or to bust one up, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
I don't think that happens most of the time, but I think, if you're gonna be a long-lasting relationship, like, that's kind of a crucible for testing it. Like, if you can't handle those kinds of challenges, regular life or, like, the mundane things are gonna be worse.
Yeah. Now, that kind of leads into our next part. Before we get there, I have to bring it up. We've all had them. The embarrassing, the awkward, the hilarious travel experiences while we're out there on the road. What's one of yours?
We don't really have anything embarrassing, but we do have funny things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe we don't have. We haven't had anything embarrassing happen, but we're always laughing at stuff that goes wrong. But probably the funniest thing that I can think of was when we were in Australia, we did house sitting for a couple months. And we really kind of bit off more than we could chew. Like, we were in charge of this big property, that was like a big fancy house, but we had a cow and an alpaca to take care of.
Yeah.
Plus chickens, dogs, cat. And it was a handful, but, the cow was really, I guess, lonely, so he would escape, like, every day. He would somehow get out of his pen. And, so there's all these situations where Nathan and I were, like, running down back roads in Australia, like, waving at the cow to try to get it to come back.
Yeah.
And then the cow, whenever it left, the alpaca was like, I'm gonna go too. So, like, we would be chasing a cow and an alpaca.
Oh, no.
We tried all these ridiculous things to get it back. Like, we would take hay in our hand and, like, try to just, coax it back in.
Yeah.
Finally, we had to drive on, like, the 4x4 and, like, kind of just, like, drive her back into the
steer it back to the farm.
So, like, at the time, it was crazy.
Yeah. Do you two have any previous farming experience, or was that, like, was that your first experience right there?
That's pretty much it.
That was new.
I did, for a little bit, I did, there's an organization called, Workers on Organic Farms. WOOF is the short version of it. And so I did, a few weeks of that, but, that was kind of minimal stuff. Like, there's a lot of skill involved in farming.
Yeah, for sure.
And chickens are not fun to take care of.
No.
Terrible.
All right, so moving on to the next part of our podcast, just talking about relationships and traveling as a couple. How do you feel? Well, I guess we've already kind of talked about this, but how do you feel traveling has affected your relationship?
I think, well, in so many ways, it's just like the best memories we've had, which in and of itself is so great. And that's one reason we would definitely encourage, like, all couples that we know to travel. But It definitely, it's just kind of the cliche things, I guess, like it made us better at communicating. You know, in a way, we were traveling together before we never really traditionally dated. So like right away we were like in a tent together or in a camper van together. So like any issues that we had, like any personal quirks or flaws, like they would come to a head and we would have to sort them out, which probably made us, you know, more, I don't know, just like better understanding of one another and like understanding the other's needs. Like, and we realized quickly that you have to like force yourselves to take time apart. You know, even if you are in a van, you need to, you know, go for a walk or whatever, because it's really important to have that alone time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've loved all our adventures.
Yeah, it's a lot of, we kind of have a large body of shared experiences.
Yeah.
That, you know, the things you go through, they change you, and when you're together, they kind of change you both together.
Right.
So that has resulted in, you know, closeness that might have taken us longer to get to otherwise.
Yeah, it really, traveling as a couple really builds you up and teaches you how to work together. And, yeah, like you said, become a better communicator and all these things. Yeah, for sure. So, what is the best destination you two have been to for couples, or maybe just your favorite destination?
Our favorite is Scotland.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, we've been back time and time again, and like, we would still go back, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much we still haven't seen in the Highlands, and I think it's really just romantic. Like, even, you don't have to try to make it romantic, it just is romantic. You know, it kind of feels like a fairy tale or like an old myth. It's, you know, it's almost always misty and cloudy, and that just, to me, is kind of storybook.
Right.
And I just love it.
There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's the outdoors, you know, with the Highlands, and then there's, you know, old cities with, you know, there's castles. It's just a whole combination of romantic stuff.
It's enchanting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you been?
We've never been, actually, neither of us,
so
but yeah, it definitely looks really interesting.
Yeah. Everyone goes, I feel like a lot of people are going to Iceland these days.
Yeah, we hear that a lot too.
We haven't been there, but I still would prefer I still would suggest Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the two of you would go somewhere you've already been before? That's not a problem with you?
You know, that's a good question, because, you know, there's always limits, like there's limited time and limited money. Like, probably given the opportunity to go elsewhere, we would choose it, because we have been back to Scotland like 4 times now.
Oh, wow.
Right.
But I do feel like a pull. I don't know. Do you feel that much of one?
Yeah, well, I feel like we'll go again at some point.
Yeah.
It seems that way. But, in the near term, there's just so much other stuff, you know, more stuff than we'll ever see. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
So, you know, it feels more urgent in a way, I guess, to see different things.
Yeah.
So, wrapping this part of the interview up, do you have any advice for couple travelers out there? Any last words for relationships and traveling, and anything like that?
Yeah, I'd say, you know, the experiences that you have when you travel, try to accept them as they come, and for what they are, and don't have too many specific expectations if you can help it. You know, for what a place will look like, or what you'll do when you're there, or how you'll feel. You know, these things never really turn out quite like you expect, and they can turn out better. But it's good to try to be open to the world as you go through.
Yeah, I can be guilty of that, because I I tend to think, oh, this is the only time we'll be in, Peru or whatever. It has to be the best time. Or this is our honeymoon. It has to be so romantic. But the more you try to make something a certain way, the less it'll actually turn out because you're stressing yourself out and you're missing what's actually happening.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, excellent advice, guys. Finally, this is the final part, but it's also the part that we really want to inspire couples to live a more digital nomad lifestyle or incorporate travel more into their relationship somehow. Mm-hmm. And this is where we want to give some advice to our listeners and help them in that sense. So I know the two of you have mentioned earlier about this, but tell us a little bit about getting away from your blog aspect, but more towards your jobs while you're abroad. What do you do for that?
Well, I work as a copywriter, which some people don't actually know what it is. Basically, I write. It can actually mean a lot of different things. For me, it's I'm a copywriter and a content writer. Really, I do blog posts and website content.
Okay.
Website copy for businesses. Mm-hmm. So I have a handful of different clients, and I've written about all different things. So I don't really specialize.
Gotcha.
It's always great when I can write about travel.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, that's my main thing, and I started out on a site called Upwork.
Okay. Which
was great when I did it, but it's easy to get stuck there. The rates are really bad, can be pretty bad and low. I think for people trying to really earn a good income, it should just be a stepping stone. And there's so many ways now you can write online.
Right. So it's just a first step thing is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then that led into you eventually gathering some clients and creating your own portfolio and everything?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, so now they sometimes find me, but mostly I just pitch to various businesses that I source online. Pretty much, I think pitching is key. Mm-hmm. You never know who's going to need your services.
Mm-hmm. And do you do this by email when you pitch?
Yeah.
And there's nothing like showing your copywriting abilities by pitching in an email, right?
True, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really make many grammatical errors if you want to work on it.
Right, yeah, for sure.
But it's fun. I've done some really random things. Especially when I was starting out, I wrote copy, product descriptions for crazy contact lenses.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Which is very unique.
Yeah.
I feel like they had tiger stripes on the eyes and stuff.
Wow.
And I had to write 150 words for each one.
Dollar signs on the eyes.
Yes, exactly. So I'd be really...
So did they send you some free $sign contact lenses?
Oh my gosh. That would be so funny. No, I would not put those in my eyes.
Yeah. Awesome. And Nathan, what do you do for yourself?
My job's kind of related. I'm a copy editor.
Okay.
So I work for a company online that has a remote staff. And basically I work on documents ranging from academic papers to, business to fiction. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've been doing for a few years now. And it's been really great. It's been very flexible in terms of the amount of work that I take on, which kind of lets me scale up or down when I need to work more on the blog or on some other projects. And so that's been pretty good. There's a lot of people who do that and who essentially freelance, but I've just been sticking with the same company.
For sure.
Because it's worked out so well.
And not to get into too many personal details with the company, but did you look for this job as an outlet to be able to afford to go traveling for long periods of time, being that you can work while you're abroad, or is this something that just came about?
Well, I did it backwards. I was abroad and really needed money.
Yeah.
And basically I basically just searched over the whole internet, like, okay, how can I, like, squeeze money out of the internet?
For sure.
And, I applied for this company and, some time went by and I basically forgot about it. But then, one day I got an email and they sent me their trial assignment and I worked real hard on that for 24 hours and got the job. So it was really, really good time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Nathan's much more detail oriented. I could never do the proofreading and the editing.
Yeah.
It's good to be obsessive compulsive.
So that's a really great compliment between the two of you, and it's really interesting that you guys are working on this while living abroad. You guys are saving money by house sitting to lower your travel costs, and you guys are also doing this blog all at the same time. How do you juggle all this?
Oh, we work all the time. Yeah, no, I'm serious actually. No, we do work a lot. Like, I forgot what weekends are at this point, but, it is a constant struggle to find the time to really do it all. Sometimes one or the other thing has to suffer a bit, but, it's easier to work on the blog because we really enjoy it and, it's like more of a passion.
Yep.
Nothing against the copywriting and the editing, but it's much more fun writing about travel and taking photos and everything like that. But at the moment we have gotten a lot better about organizing ourselves. We really try to have a schedule every day for ourselves because when you work at home it's too easy to just sleep in and be lazy.
Right.
Nobody is there like that is going to yell at you if you don't get up.
Right. Yeah.
So it can be really bad if you don't, have the discipline. So, we're very disciplined about the times we work usually. And so that's been helpful. And then just knowing like which things to prioritize on the blog.
Yep.
At this point we can't be on every platform, like every social media platform all the time.
And that's the thing, right? choosing the right social media platform for you and your blog and focusing on that. And you know what, if you can't branch out to do 2, 3, 4 different platforms, then, be a bit more choosy.
Right,
with that, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So then, transferring over to the blog then, who takes care of different aspects of the blog, or do you guys kind of split roles? Like, who does the writing, the photography, the social media platforms? How do you guys split that up?
I do most of the writing.
Okay.
Pretty much. And then Nathan does most of the photos.
Okay.
And then the social media we split kind of down the middle. We just, I take a couple platforms, she takes a couple platforms.
Okay.
That's how we've come to do it. And the photography, since we're in New Hampshire right now and we're taking small trips, but we're not overseas, the photography's a little light at the moment. But usually I take most of the pictures, when we're out and about. And then, Aimee's the main writer.
And I do Instagram mostly.
Okay.
So the comments on there, it's usually me replying.
Gotcha.
Oh. Yeah.
Now, Nathan, your photos are really interesting. They have, I almost want to say like a vintage feel to them.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. I really like it. Like, maybe it's your editing or however you do it, but they have a really cool vibe to them, each and every one of them. It's really interesting.
Thank you. Yeah. We tried to edit, we used Lightroom. We tried to edit, not overly much, but enough to sort of give it a feeling kind of like that. And then my primary interest, so really our primary interest when we take pictures is mostly older stuff, like,
right.
That's true.
you know, castles, older architecture, landscapes, things like that. And kind of less of the modern parts of our surroundings. So that that probably brings some of that feel to it too.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of, I mean, your composition, the way you edit your photos. It makes me want to travel.
Oh, yay!
Yeah,
We've done our job.
Yeah. So continuing with your blog, how do you guys get subscribers, and how do you guys drive traffic to your website? Do you have any tips and tricks you want to share?
Sure. I don't know if I have any tricks, but my tip at this point in the blogging journey is I wish I had started focusing on SEO a lot earlier. Mm-hmm. When we first started out, I wrote a lot of sort of personal journalistic style stuff, while still giving people information like where to go, how to get there, whatever. But I didn't focus anything on like keywords or, answering travel questions. And that is a problem because, you're not going to get found unless you have a huge social media following. You're not going to get found on Google or other search engines unless you are really using SEO like to its maximum benefit. So I've really started doing that for our blog in like the past 6 months, and like the traffic has really increased a lot, and it's steady, and I can see where it comes from. Like I understand now how to actually research keywords and pick the right words for the post and then like focus on it. So I actually feel like now I'm writing better, more informative posts that people are actually reading. Mm-hmm. Nice. So that's my biggest tip for anyone who's new to blogging would be to really learn what SEO is. And it's not as impossible as it sounds. Mm-hmm. Like when, I don't know, it can feel really intimidating at first. Mm-hmm. There's all these terms and everything, but it's really just like using keywords in the right amount and the right places, Right.
And, I think that's really important because it's such an easy thing to overlook and say, especially when you're starting your blog, to just skip over and say, you know what, maybe I'll be found on social media or all these other platforms, but SEO is extremely important, and it shouldn't be glossed over, and even just knowing the basics can mean a big difference, right?
Totally. And social media, like, could be gone tomorrow. Not that, like things like Facebook, they're probably going to go the distance. There's probably no chance that's going to disappear. But, sometimes platforms come and go. Like, look at Vine. That doesn't even exist anymore, right? And people built their whole, like, careers on it, some video makers. So, like, putting all your eggs in one basket with social media can be scary. Mm-hmm. And, I don't think Google's going anywhere.
Right.
So, it's the basic internet. So, I think, doing SEO and really building your subscriber list is really important. But other than that, we focus a lot on Pinterest because that's a big traffic driver.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially for, like, our target audience, which is mostly women, about ages 30 to 35, something like our ages.
Gotcha.
They're all on Pinterest, and they're using it to search for things, and it's really good for blogs.
Yeah.
The other thing I recommend.
Yeah. And exactly, choosing the platform that your target audience is going to be on is just as important. Yeah. For sure. That's awesome. Thank you so much for the advice. I'm sure everyone's going to really appreciate it. So what's next for the Two Drifters? Are you guys working on anything in particular? Any products you're going to release, or just continuing with the blog and keeping that continual?
Yeah, I think that's mostly it. Keeping the blog going, sort of preparing for the next step internationally, whatever that turns out to be, and trying to build some more momentum with what we're doing in all our various projects.
Excellent, nice. Okay, well, there you have it. Nathan and Aimee from Two Drifters sharing their travel stories with you today on To the Nations Worldwide Travel Couple Podcast. I want to say a special thank you to Nathan and Aimee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan and Aimee.
Yeah, that was really awesome, guys. Just to end this interview, where should our listeners check you out? What's the best way to reach you? And everything.
Number one would be on the blog, twodrifters.us.
Mm-hmm.
And second, I'd say head on over to Instagram. We're at twodriftersxo.
Thank you to all of our listeners out there to the nations worldwide. We cannot express our appreciation enough for listening to this episode. Visit us at podcast.tothenationsworldwide.com/EP3. That stands for episode 3. To view the show notes for this particular episode, be sure to check out more of our podcast episodes. Leave a comment on the page and we'll be sure to get back to you. If you would be so kind, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. We'll make sure to consistently deliver you valuable information about the world of travel. This is Mike Kletz and
Natalie.
hoping you have a wonderful adventure to the nations worldwide.